world? What in the
hell did I just watch? What is up with this Korean production company? This is crazy!
Call me a fan, call me a queen. I'm watching BLs on every screen. I'm a BL baby, I stay on screen. Japan, Korea, China, Thailand's the king. Boys love drama, give me that scene. Living my life in a BL dream.
Woo! Honey child, this BL was wild. Let's start with some comments. Okay, this was certainly something. The acting was so good, I felt like I was genuinely watching something illegal. Would be great if it had like 1 or 2 more episodes, because I have a lot of questions. And on the other hand, I kind of like this open-ended.
That was yes, I knew he was in on it, planned it. The crime was really good. I felt his trauma. Is this the same actor from Therapy?
Yes, that's him. For sure.
I knew from the beginning that it was all planned by the other guy. You ho. But why did he do that? And how didn't the other guy realize it was reality? I have so many questions, but I loved it. Well done.
Hey you guys. Hi, if you don't know me, I'm Lola from BL Lunatic. That's what you're watching. And today we need to have a real conversation about this Korean BL called Secret by DBP. That's the Daebak Films. This is the second installment that I know of from this production company, because they did the first one. The last one I talked about, Therapy, because when I tell you I was confused, I was shocked, and at certain points, well, let's just say, what in the I was actually a little disgusted, but really, really intrigued. And no, I'm not talking about the actors. I take no issues with the actors. They are playing a role. I'm talking about these characters and the choices they were making. I mean, what? The confusion that I was having. But, I mean, what else would I be? Just the way it starts off, you know nothing from jump. So anyways, Secret is only 3 episodes long, okay? Now you would think, well, okay, quick watch, probably something light. Absolutely not. If you watch DPB's Therapy, then you already know they like that artistic, psychological, make you uncomfortable type of storytelling. But Secret, it feels even more disturbing because it's more direct, less abstract, but somehow more unsettling. And I'm going to walk you through all 3 episodes because, yeah, we're not being that secretive. You like that? Today. Okay, let's hit off episode number 1. So episode 1 introduces us to these 2 men, and from the very beginning, the energy is way off. It's not soft, it's not romantic, and it's definitely not playful. It's tense, it's controlled, and honestly, a little cold. Basically, you see like what looks like it's a kidnapping of some sort. One of the biggest things that I noticed right away is that their relationship doesn't even feel mutual. It feels like one person has more power than the other. And the way they interact, it's given more manipulation more than affection. of course, they seem like they have been abducted from somebody, whoever this freak is with the mask on. And then there are moments of intimacy, I guess, but they don't feel loving. They feel transactional or even experimental. Like someone is trying to get something out of the other person. Yeah. And as I was watching, I kept thinking, wait, what exactly is this relationship here? Because these two dudes know each other. We kind of get that sort of in the middle. Because there's a scene in there where he mentions that he knew him from maybe university and something about him having a girlfriend that they knew. Anyways, because it's not clearly defined and it's not clearly intentional, you're supposed to feel uncertain when you watch this. But instead of intrigue, for me, it created discomfort and just all around weirdness. Alright, so now we're here at episode number 2, where things are getting clearer, and also where things start to get worse, because this is where we begin to understand what the secret actually is. And I'm going to be real with you. This is where I start feeling genuinely disturbed. We start seeing that this relationship is built on hidden desires from Mr. Therapy, apparently, that are not exactly healthy. There's a deception involved. There's emotional manipulation. And there are actions happening behind closed doors that made me pause the episode like, why are we doing this? One character in particular starts to reveal a side of himself that feels very controlling, almost predatory in a psychological sense. Not necessarily in a loud, aggressive way, but in a quiet, calculated way. And that is what made it more uncomfortable for me, because it felt intentional. It felt planned. And the other character feels like he's either unaware, in denial, or willingly participating in something he probably shouldn't be. And that's where the moral of the confusion kicks in. I'm gonna tell you folks, this is, or ladies, or whoever's watching, this is so because you're watching it, it's like, are you a victim? Are you choosing this? Is this like a film or something? And the show doesn't give you a clear answer. It's very bizarre, just like an art film. So now, let's talk about episode number 3. This is where everything kind of clicks into place, I guess. And when I say clicks, I don't mean it suddenly feels better. I mean it becomes a little clearer on just how messed up this situation is. We get confirmation about the nature of their relationship. I remember I said they had a little conversation about they knew each other maybe at university or somewhere, and they talk about a girlfriend that he had. And he was like, what's her name? And then there's the motivations behind the actions. And let's just say, what was hinted at episodes 1 and 2, is it real? In The Secret, there just isn't a small hidden detail. It's the foundation of their entire dynamic. And once they're fully revealed, sorta, it recontextualizes everything you just watched. Certain scenes that felt confusing before suddenly made sense. Maybe. But in a way that made me go, oh no. Because now you realize that the emotional connection between them is not built on love in a traditional sense. Or love at all. I think it's just some kind of hidden sick desire coming from Mr. Therapy. It's built on something much darker. An obsession. And form of control. There's a level of emotional detachment that makes their interactions feel almost clinical at times. Not even clinical, barbaric, I would say. And again, I was just sitting there like, I don't really like this, and I'm totally confused. Not because it was poorly done, but because it's intentionally disturbing. And it is disturbing. Because there's a scene in there where they are having relations, and the one character, not Mr. Therapy, the other guy with the curlier hair, he starts to cry. He's participating in this because he thinks he's being abducted and forced to do this, which he is and was, but it's basically like abuse and forced abuse by the so-called abductor, and he starts to cry because there's nothing he can do in that moment. And this is why I say that Secret feels like an art film, just like the other film Therapy. But this even more of an art film to me. Just like Therapy, it's not trying to give you a clear, easy to digest story. But there was more of a story in Therapy. This just is, it focused on mood, symbolism, and emotional discomfort. And there are moments that feel more like visual statements than actual plot and progress. Silences that feel heavy, conversations that feel loaded but not totally or fully explained. And that can either work for you or completely turn you off. For me, it just left me feeling confused more than being satisfied. It was just kind of like, what the hell? So, let me be completely honest with you. I can't really say that I enjoyed it, but I can't really say that I didn't enjoy it. No, that made no sense. I can't really say that I did not enjoy it in a traditional sense. I wasn't really rooting for the couple, but I don't know if I was rooting for anything really. There were no butterflies, but why would I feel butterflies? This was nothing romantic at all. This was like a kidnapping, abduction situation where it really wasn't. It was deception. I felt confused, shocked, and yes, a little disgusted. Because the characters made choices that were hard to watch and even harder to understand emotionally. Now, this doesn't mean it's very bad or bad at all. Not necessarily. If you're into darker psychological BLs, that's a challenge, the typical ideal of romance, then hey, knock yourself out. If you like stories that explore uncomfortable dynamics and don't give you clean answers, then Secret might actually be your thing. But if you're here for love, chemistry, and emotional payoff, baby, this ain't it at all. Okay, so let's take it back a little bit, back to Therapy, because it has to do with the same film company that made Secret. And if you notice, the same actor from Therapy that played the therapist is in Secret. So this is Daebak Films. They've been popping up more these days on the Korean BL streets. And don't let that name fool you. Daebak in Korean basically means awesome or jackpot. But the content, oh no, that's not your typical stuff. It's not fluffy BL, okay? Daebak Films is part of this newer wave of Korean BL production. It is not trying to play it safe. Not at all. And if you've seen dramas like Therapy, then you already know. We're not in cute college romance territory. We're in psychological, intimate, slightly uncomfortable. Well, maybe Therapy might be slightly uncomfortable, but Secret is very uncomfortable. And then you might ask yourself, should I be watching this? And and I mean that in the very best way. So what makes Daebak Films stand out as they lean into this short-form storytelling? So instead of dragging out like 16 episodes with a filler, they give you tight, focused episodes that get straight to the point. And the point is usually desire, power dynamics, and emotional tension. So because Daebak Films projects tend to feel low budget, yes, but also very raw and intentional. The camera work is often very simple and the settings are minimal, but they actually put all the focus on the characters and their interactions. And baby, those interactions, they're intense. We're talking about characters who are emotionally complicated, sometimes morally questionable, and definitely not your typical green flag BL leads. Let's read the comments!
This is a pornographic comedy. This is neither sexy nor romantic. It is, however, highly amusing, absurdly and strangely sweet, and utterly devoid of story. If it wasn't so perfectly set up to keep the giggles coming, it would be bloody awful.
The plot is the one that focuses purely on self-discovery and, I think, falling in love. There's really no story. There's just weird process between a man and his therapist, with the only twist coming early in chapter 1, when the client let it be known that he's heterosexual. Anyway, the flustered client ends up being completely seduced by the first kiss, decides maybe men aren't so bad. He'll learn. The rest of it is the client's prolonged and energetic. What to add? This is probably won't be for many viewers who like youthful BL actors and are used to more. Overall, I chuckled at the warm-up and how the one guy wore socks and whatever those things were. Props to the actors who seemed comfortable imitating the most positions I have ever seen in a short time frame. Room for improvement? It's episode 3 that should have started with fingers slowly. Alright y'all, that's my full breakdown of Secret by DBP. If you're watching this, please tell me your thoughts in the comments. Please, 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 I really want to hear it, because this art film, or whatever the hell you want to call it, was so bizarre. But sometimes I like that. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one.
I'm a BL babe, I stay on screen. Japan, Korea, China, Thailand's the king. Boys love drama, give me that scene. Living my life in a BL dream.